And we're live. And we're live for episode 8 of Slap Happy. Slap Happy. This is my podcast. I'm Savilian. I'm the host. And we're doing episode 8. Count it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're up to episode 8 here, guys. And before I get stuck into this one, I just want to say a really heartfelt, warm thank you for the response to episode 7 about my ASX trading journey. The response was literally blew me away. I was kind of expecting people to enjoy, some parts of it. I did not expect it to resonate with people the way that it did. So as a guy who, as I mentioned on the last one, I'm an emotional dude, and I'm always, it feels good to know that what you do is valued. And everybody made me feel very valued from the responses and feedback I got off the last one. And I can't ask for much more than that. I started doing this as a way to just kind of get my ideas and thoughts out into the world and just to have another arm of content. And because I like the idea of just speaking and kind of, talking my shit, swinging my, doing my, and the fact that it's resonating, the fact that it's, making a difference in people's lives, literally cannot ask for any more than that. I think we're almost at 3,000 views on the YouTube video, which is fucking nuts. Nearly, I think the episode's got about 150 downloads. So, and this is all within 1 week, inside of a week, which is humongous for me. So yeah, I literally can't say thank you enough. Anyway, on this episode, and probably for the rest of this month, I kind of wanted to do some traded orientated, never hated, always faded. I wanted to do some trading orientated potties where I, either myself or guests, I'm definitely getting a guest on before the year is out, so don't worry about that. Just talking about trading kind of, but not so much the technical side of things. Obviously, there will be some of the technical talk as well, but my audience are not just traders. Like, I've got a lot of family, friends, fans of my music who watch this, who kind of just people in general, man. Like, I just want to share ideas that I think are going to resonate with everybody, not just trading. There will be some technical things in here. I'm going to answer some questions at the end of this episode, but I want to talk about things that are going to resonate with people wherever they are. That's going to talk directly to people's hearts and souls, and is going to, give you that little, all right, let's get this done kind of thing. The scene off Gone in 60 Seconds with Nick Cage. I don't know the specifics of the scene, but I remember he does this thing where he's like, okay, let's go. I want to give people that moment where they can just be like, okay, let's go. And they can just kind of get on with their shit. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they just fucking kick it at home doing nada. And that's okay, because it's your life. You get to do what the fuck you want. Anyway, on this episode, one thing that really resonated with people from the last one was when I was talking about my why. Okay, and I think I didn't know I was going to say that. That kind of came out of me. That was a little bit of a heartfelt kind of spew, and it really connected with people, because I think in our world, too many people forget their why, okay? I'm not saying all the guys who have watched the video or talked to me about, their thoughts on it have forgotten their why, but I feel like some of them have, right? And I feel like just generally as a society, sometimes we actually, more often than not, we forget our why. We go away from our why. Because think about it. When you were 16, 17, or maybe even younger, when you were a kid, when you were 10 years old, what did you want to do? You probably wanted to do something really hectic, right? Like, you wanted to be a superhero. You wanted to be a president. You wanted to be something like wild. Okay. And the reason that you wanted to do that was generally, like for most people, generally you had a very positive, optimistic outlook on life, and you wanted to do something that resonated with that outlook, right? So whether it was being a superhero or being a president, maybe being a firefighter or a policeman, but it was something that had like a positive impact on the world. So when you're a kid, you got this why, which is really strong. Like, I want to make the world a better place when I'm older. I want to feed the homeless when I'm older. I want to save people, when I'm older. For me, it was, when I was like 15, maybe 16, when I kind of first got into music, I wanted to make music that made the world a better place. Literally, that's kind of one of the main things that that I kind of held in my heart, was like, I just want to make the world a better place. I want to make music that unites people and that gives people direction, stuff like that. That was my why. Now, when you get older, obviously life gets in the way. Okay, not doubting that for a second. Life gets in the way. You do dumb shit. You get older, so you start seeing all these other fucking whys start popping up, and then all of a sudden yours seems a little bit less interesting, or you kind of just you lose faith and you lose strength in your why, because I know the world just gets in the way. The world gets in the way. For me, everything got in the way of my why. As I said, as I've discussed before, drugs, a ton of drugs. Sex, alcohol, gambling, chasing friendships, or chasing, females that, kind of weren't aligned with what I really wanted to do in this life, which was just to make the world a better place, which is to make, to enlighten the lives of the people around me. I wanted to be a leader amongst men. I wanted to be a leader to young kids who didn't have role models. I wanted to be that person. But as I got older, I got distracted. And we do that happens. We get distracted. So I just wanted to like reinforce this idea. I wanted to talk more about this idea today, because I feel like it's a really important one. I feel like it is up there with one of the most important things we can be talking about right now. And a lot of my listeners, kind of like, especially on my Twitter, a lot of the people that I think 100% men actually watch the YouTube video, and a lot of them are like middle-aged men. And I just want to talk to you guys. I want to talk to everyone, but especially like, being a middle-aged man who's only just kind of started to find my why. I get it. I can understand like going through your 20s and being like, chasing all these other things that aren't really aligned with, what you want. You kind of like this. You kind of always, it's fighting you, you're fighting it. It's, there's always this kind of like push and pull kind of moment going on. And then when it finally clicks and when you finally figure it out, it's like, zing, gah. And then it's like you finally get it in a place and it's like, oh shit, that's what it is. And then you can go, you're good, you can go, So my why is, it's not really well defined. Like it's not a specific, mission statement. But my why basically gravitates around my family and the people that I love. And it basically is built around this idea of just being the best version of myself for the people that I love, so that I can provide hopefully a better life for them and hopefully a better life for me too. But just being the best version of myself so that I can provide a better life for the people that I love. And just to further dive into that, and also this is kind of like two birds, one stone, answering a couple of questions that were put to me off the back of the video the other day. Basically, I talked about this morning mantra that I introduced halfway through last month when I was really struggling. Actually, it was like a week in. So I was like, I was trading really badly. I'd made a couple of really bad errors, really rookie errors, and just kind of got a little bit egotistical with my trading, thinking I'd earned my spot at the table, as I say. And I started being a little bit too rash with my decision making, and going away from the things that were working. So what I did was I reinvented the way that I tackled the morning, and I did it to just stem the bleeding, basically. So I'm just gonna, and a few people asked me like, "Hey, what was that mantra? Like, what were you talking about? What were the rules? What were the ideas that you kind of, said to yourself in order to go about the trading day?" Now I'm going to tell you them specifically. Like I'm going to read it from my notes right now, so you guys know exactly what I was saying to myself in the morning. Let me just open this up. So I'm going to, this will be here. You'll be able to see this. I'll put it on the video. But basically, I had rules, right? The rules were trade the match only, no more than 5 trades, no more than a 2-tick loss. Now, I had really strict rules just to stop the bleeding, because when you're bleeding, when you're when you kind of got little forest fires left, right, and center, the first thing you need to do is kind of like just consolidate, figure out where you are, consolidate, and just kind of stop as much as you can, so you can kind of like see exactly what's going on. Now, I just had to, all I had to do when I was like making these really bad trades is just stop the bleeding. So that was the first thing, right? So I had these really stringent rules so I could just stop the bleeding and then reevaluate and then hopefully kind of take off again. But the most important part is stop the bleeding. So those rules were in place for a very specific reason. And then from there, I would and I would say this out loud in the morning before the open. I would say that I would open this sheet 15 minutes before I would start trading. I would kind of limber up, and I literally do this. I limber up, I limber my fingers and my shoulders and stuff like this. If I'm not too like hungover and I get to the computer like real late. But if I'm there and I'm prepped real early, I'll like limber up. I do the like Conor McGregor like swagger thing where he shakes his shoulders back and forward and kind of limbers up like that. I limber my neck and my fingers and stuff, because I'm going to war out there. I'm going to war. I'm ready to hit. I'm ready to get hit. I'm ready to get it in and out, and then I'm done. As my boy Chris says, trade like a motherfucking demon, and then I'm skirt. Sorry if that was too loud. Anyway, so I would say this to myself, right? Remember, Matt, which is my name. Remember, Matt, you're doing this for your family, to give Cassie, who is my little sister, mum and dad, a better life. Now, I'll say that again, okay? Remember, Matt, you're doing this for your family, to give Cassie, mum, and dad a better life. Now, that seems like real, I don't know, it seems a little bit airy and a bit basic, which I can totally empathize with. But when you, like I can see that argument. It's like, really, dude, that's fucking, I don't know. It's like, really? But like when you think about it, right, that's my why, okay? Now, if I am focused on that when I'm trading, okay, if that's the last thing that I think about when the market opens, what is my why, okay, then I'm going to, generally speaking, I'm going to act in accordance to that, okay? It's my North Star and I'm focused on it. I'm like, I'm going to get that motherfucker. And what I do to get that is I trade well and I do my job. And that all that requires is scalping, okay? Because that's my job, all right? Your trading might be something different. Your why, your skill set might be something different, okay? But when you know what that why is and why you're doing what you're doing, when you're turning up to your job, okay? It might be like you know, imagine like waking up at like 6 a.m. and fucking, it's winter outside and you got to go like, fucking slog away like hammering some shit or building some shit. You might be on mornings like that. You just might be like, oh, fuck, what is the point? But it's in those moments where we kind of look inside and we go, why am I doing this? What is my why? Why am I turning up today? Why am I giving my all? Why am I putting that extra hour in? Why am I doing that extra rep? Why am I doing that extra research? Why am I doing this? And I think if we can focus on that, and I know for a fact that, whenever I'm focused in on that, my why, I'm absolutely so in line with who I really am and who I want to be. So I can't stress that enough. I know that like when you read like investing books or when people are talking about like long-term investing, I don't know anything about that, so I'm not going to comment on the idea of long-term investing. But I do know that like if you were to open like an investing book, a lot of like famous investors will talk about why you're investing. Like think about your why or your goal as as an investor, or your goal from your investment, and then work backwards kind of thing. And I think it's a similar thing. When you enter the market, why am I trading today? What is going to get me to my why or allow me to achieve that, and then you're probably not going to take those fucking 10, 15, 20 other extra trades. Maybe you're not going to leave the 7,500 long in Vull when it's like going to the goddamn moon, and you might get in your car and like drive to a Muay Thai class like a bloody dickhead. Maybe you don't do that. Okay, maybe you don't fucking trade TAH on ridiculous size when you're maxing out and you're just fucking taking like 3 tick losses, which ends up being like $750 every single time. Yeah, maybe you don't do that. Maybe you don't do that. Maybe you just focus on what you need to focus on. One thing that I think has really helped me kind of hone this in and really, dial this in over the last couple of years is I watched, there was a clip that I saw of Jordan Peterson on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about hell on earth. And a lot of people, they gravitate towards an idea of heaven on earth. What does heaven on earth look like to you? The sick car, and I got, I got a PS5, and, I'm drinking McDonald's thick shakes and, going on holiday to Bali. That's heaven on earth, right? But what does hell on earth look like? And a thought experiment that Jordan Peterson laid down was to think about your hell on earth, and specifically in 5 years. Define what hell on earth looks like in 5 years. Because he, all the stuff that I've watched and read on Jordan Peterson, he's always trying to push people to like, stop procrastinating, stop putting off, just get to it. Like, align with your true self and get after it. Or at least that's what I've kind of read of his. In this clip particular, he was talking about hell on earth in 5 years. Okay, write it down. And I did it. I wrote down at the top of this bit of paper at the beginning of last year. I did it. I wrote down, what does hell on earth look like in 5 years? And then I listed out a whole bunch of things that I think would define what hell on earth would look like for me. And those things were like, I'm still gambling. I'm in debt. I haven't fully got the trust of my family and friends because of the poor decisions I make. I'm overweight. I'm not looking after my health. I don't have a partner. I'm kind of lonely and don't have many friends. I haven't fully learned how to write and read music and play keyboard, which is something that I've always aspired to. I talked about things that if I was that person, if I was, say, I get to like 36, 37 and I'm that person, then that would be hell on earth for me. And I couldn't think of anything worse than that, to be that person who never showed up, never gave a damn, never actually put the work in, and just kind of fizzled away. That scares me more than fucking anything. More than anything, it scares me. And it scared me so much that it scared me into goddamn action. Because, maybe 12 months ago, I was still on the path to being that person. So, yeah, I'm not there yet, and I'm still refining my why, and I'm still refining that person. But I tell you what, not a day goes by where I'm not thinking about it or aiming at it. I've fully locked it in terms of like my why and where I need to get to, my North Star. And not a day goes by where I'm not trying to be that person. And I won't stop until I am. So, yeah. Anyway, I think I am going to jump into a few questions because why not? I've I'm going to pull up these questions here. So, yeah, that's just a little bit about the why. I just, look, I hope I made sense. I just got a lot of people hitting me up about it. And it seemed like, something that might or did resonate with people. And I just wanted to, talk a little bit more about it and hopefully, continue to stoke some fires in people and really focus on that why, because that's the thing that's going to get you from here to there, I think, anyway. The how and the what, I think the how and the what can be anything, but the why, I think that is the most important thing, because you can have the how and the what, but without the why, I don't think they're any value. They're not important. The how and the what, like that, that's why they say like, rich people, I know that this is very anecdotal, but like rich people, or I guess this is a thing that poor people say, but like rich people are never happy. Or, money doesn't buy you happiness kind of thing. I think that's more along the lines. Yeah, money doesn't buy you happiness. And I think it's because a lot of the times, and I think why people say that is because a lot of the time that money come from a how and a what, but it was never attached to a why. And so you can have all the money that come from your how and your what, but because there was never a why driving it or like keeping it afloat, it just, it didn't amount to much. So yeah, try and hone in on that why. Try and spend some time figuring out what that why is and don't let go of it. Like literally fucking blood, sweat, and tears over that why until, there's nothing left. Because there's nothing that's more important than that, in my opinion. You deserve to shine. You deserve to fly. And you deserve to show the world exactly what you got, each and every single one of you. Yeah. So that's the end of the motivational section of Slap Happy. I'm going to get into some questions. Just off the back of the, success of last week's episode, I got some more trading related questions and I'm going to get into them now. So this one comes from ASX Bull and he said, hey, great podcast. Looking forward to the next one. Here are a couple of questions. How do you feel Sunday night about working as a day trader Monday morning? Does that sense of anticipation and excitement last compared to, dreading a day job kind of thing? How do you feel Sunday night? We actually joke about this. I don't know who jokes about it, but I think like when I would work, like when I've worked jobs in the past, right? And this is such a normal human reaction / experience, right? We work all weekend and we slave away and we look so forward to, we work all week and we look so forward to the weekend because freedom, time away from work, relaxing, getting fucking pissed, having a good one with the boys, going to a festy, whatever. You're looking forward to the weekend so badly because it's time away from work, right? Now, and this is, I don't want anything that I say in this podcast to come across like facetious or like I'm being a little dick, because I'm absolutely not. This is just how I feel and how I see it. But now when it gets to the weekend, I'm like, holy shit, why can't the weekend be over? I want to get back to trading on Monday morning. And, it's, I've like joked about it with, a couple of boys, Santo and fucking, maybe Chris and, no names. But yeah, we've joked a bit about it because it's like it's a weird paradox that like totally flips the idea that we've been used to on its head, where we want the weekend to be over so Monday morning can come around, we can get back to trading, doing what we love. It's a pretty cool feeling. So it doesn't compare. It's the total opposite. And I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. See what I did there? Trade it. Anyway, do you worry about getting stuck in a trade with an announcement coming out during the day, e.g. shorting SBT and an announcement of a takeover offer at double the share price? I guess there's always that concerned that, you might get in something and the news comes and then you just got to, fucking sweat it out. I think because I only trade the morning and because I'm in and out so quickly, I don't worry about it too much. There was the what was it, the Freedom Foods FNP a couple of months ago where I did trade that a couple of times during the day just before that. And I actually was close to because I was scalping it both ways, right? And I was just like getting a little bit silly, but I think I was almost about to try and scalp some long just before it went into a halt. And that thing that's cooked. That's fucking, I don't know what the latest with that is, but I think it's, good chance it goes to zero. But yeah, anyone who got stuck in that's pretty heavy. Yeah, so there's always that risk. I don't worry about it because it's like, if it happens, I can't control it. If it happens, it happens. I try to limit my exposure as much as I can. But, it's a game we play. We take these risks. And, if I blow up one day, hopefully it's not as much as all the money that I've made to this point in time so that at least there's kind of some parity. But yeah, parity is that the right word? I think parity has a few different meanings, but parity I think I used correctly in that sense. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Boom. ASX Bull has one more question. How good are you at walking away from the screen after a poor couple trades to prevent revenge trading, and what have you done to get better at this? So no, I suck at revenge trading. If I do, as I said last week, if I cop a beat in a stock early, there is a good chance I'm gonna fucking dip my toes back in the well, so to speak. Once bitten, twice bitten, 3 times bitten. Is that how the saying goes? Once bitten, twice bitten again. I just keep sticking my hand in and getting bitten. I guess sometimes being a trader, you're like a kid in a candy store. You just kind of want to take a piece of everything. Once you figure out how to read tape, I guess that's probably not the best example, but once you get good enough at executing orders, you kind of become a bit of a kid in a candy store. And if you've got enough, liquidity there, then it's kind of, I don't know, you can get in trouble basically. So I generally have not been great at it over my, 2-year tenure as a day trader. I think I'm definitely getting better. One thing that I have done to get better at it is reduce the time that I'm at the screen. I feel like I have the best edge in the morning. Probably 90% of my trades are match trades. And then I fuck off because to me, there's no value in sitting there and chopping around, especially from 11 a.m. to maybe 1 p.m. Or 1:30. There's no point sitting there chopping around and stuff because I just don't have my skill. That's not in my tool belt. That's not in my playbook. Those trades in that time. So yeah, I just avoid it by walking away from the screen. Then who we got? We got Alex Philosophy, I think it was. He said, thanks for the podcast. Love the honesty. No problem, Al. What made you not decide to work at a prop firm? Yeah. So just because obviously, with Nick stepping in and mentoring me, I just never needed to. And plus, the thing that I loved about the idea of trading for yourself is, or at least trading, from home and just being being a retail guy who kind of sits around in his undies all day with coffee stains on his sweatpants and stuff like that. The thing I loved about that idea is the same thing that, got me in love with poker in the first place. And that is just that autonomy. Being able to be your boss, being able to pick your own hours. You live and die on the sweat of your own brow. I think you kind of you make your bed and you sleep in it when it comes to working for yourself. Like an entrepreneur, how well you do is entirely dependent on how much you put in. And I think trading is one of those things where, if you want to get really good, you put the goddamn hours in. The best guys at trading are the guys who put the goddamn hours in. And not just the hours, but the really concentrated, hard hitting, well-designed hours that were meant to excel learning. This isn't a thing where you just kind of like hit and hope. And that, I love that about trading. I love the fact that the harder I work, the more I kind of get out of it. So that's what I loved about poker. And that's what I love about trading, just that autonomy and that freedom. And yeah, I'll probably never trade for a prop firm. So CJ Hughes said, "Hi Sav, enjoying the content. Really grateful to hear your story. I'd like to know what your first few months looked like before you went live. What have you got in front of you in terms of screens, platforms, etc.? What your daily prep looks like." So my first few months before I went live was actually kind of cute. I would watch, and like, again, guys, I was super blessed. I had fucking Nick Fabio. Pardon me. I had Nick Fabio over my shoulder kind of every step of the way. So I was very, very blessed. But what I would do is I would go, I had Spark, I'd open up like some stocks and I'd kind of like snoop around and I'd just replay stuff. And then I would look for perfect order book setups, stuff that, ticked all the boxes. Surplus bid, surplus offer, plenty of protection on the bid or offer, fresh buyers or sellers, a fairly thin order book on the side that we're kind of aiming for it to go. So if we're buying, there's a thin offer. If we're shorting, there's a thin bid, or at least kind of like a thin-ish order book on that side. So I would kind of like look for all these things. Obviously, a strong catalyst. I would look for all these things, not gapping up too high, and I would like make note of them. I would look for all these things and I make note, and I would basically spend my mornings identifying perfect or like near perfect order book setups every day. And I'd like take my screenshots and I'd make notes, and then I'd kind of and this was like my homework. I'd send it to Nick and he'd be like, "Yep, nah, maybe think about this, maybe think about that. Oh, that's opening at like all-time highs, so it's a good chance it gets sold off into," and stuff like that. Or that, that was gapping up too high, or, this was an important level here. So I did that for a couple of months, and then I just consumed as much content as I could. As I said, I read One Good Trade. I read Andrew Aziz's book, How to Day Trade for a Living. I watched Chat with Traders, SMB Capital, and I just consumed a bunch of content and just kind of like started to think like a trader. When I first started trading live, I think I had a laptop that was gifted to me by someone very special, like an old, dusty laptop, but it kind of, did the trek. And then I had, I think, maybe one screen, which is some, busted ass monitor that my dad kind of had laying around. So I just had the two, I'm pretty sure. I might have even had three, like another busted ass monitor. But it was a very, very bare bones setup. And it did the job. That's all you need. You just need, somewhere to execute your orders, somewhere to watch the market depth and the, a Spark and an order execution. That's all you need, really. You don't need anything more than that. I think you can have more than that. Like if you want to, stay tuned to like news and what's going on here and da-da-da. But just for what I was doing, I didn't need anything more than that. It's like, I've identified what stocks I want to trade today. Now I just read the tape, get in and get out. Boom. And what did your daily prep look like? So my daily prep really hasn't changed that much over the last 2 years. I've just refined the process really, but basically it's been fairly similar the whole time. It's just I get to the computer in the morning. I open up Spark and AFR and my emails and stuff like that, and I just kind of like spend the morning reading and taking account of what the morning looks like and what it's going to look like. Is the market going to open up? Is the market going to open down? What was hot the night before? The pot stocks kind of, apparently flew off the shelves today. So I would like identify all the uranium stuff was in play today. So, as an example, this morning, I see that uranium's in play. I look up what the uranium names are, and then I just pay attention to the order book. And then I go, all right, well, what's the best opportunities in this opportunity set? Okay. I look at the opportunity set, I identify the 3 or 4 best ones, and then I just narrow my focus. I drill in and I just figure out which ones I want to nail. And then I nail them, quite simply. Yeah, but there's my prep really has been similar the whole time. It's just like a manual kind of spreadsheet thing that I identify what's in play, what was in play, what was in play 2 days ago, and then other stuff that generally has been kind of like performing well or not performing so well. I just kind of like and I do that every morning. I go through manually and like look at every single stock on this list: AX1, ADT, BWX, BOQ, BEN. And I just kind of go through each group and I just identify like, what do I like the look of? I just look at the order book. I look at the 1 minute chart, the 5 minute chart, the daily chart, monthly chart. I just like get a sense of what the morning looks like and what stuff is going to be best for me to trade that day. Yeah. So take from that what you will. If you need some more specificity around that, feel free to hit me up, CJ. Yeah, and then this will probably be the last one. This is from The Accidental Shorter, and he actually hit me up with this question last week, and we actually went back and forward in the DMs about it. But I thought it would just be an interesting one to go through on this episode because it's something that I don't know, I think about all the time, and I think it's relevant to everybody, not just traders. But it's this idea of like feeling out of place or not feeling like you belong kind of thing. So he said, hey mate, just a question. Was there ever a time where you didn't feel like you had a seat at the table because you weren't right into the fundamentals? Now, the answer is yes. And the answer also is I still kind of feel like that. Now, I never have and never will claim to be the smartest guy in the room at basically anything, because I'm just not. I'm a guy who like, I care about improving and I want to be better at everything, but I still fully admit that I am learning in every aspect of life and that I have so much more learning to go. So, I kind of always, I guess this kind of comes back to my, self-belief, my confidence as well, which is something that I'm working on. But I never really feel like I belong that much in any circle that I'm in because I'm never the smartest guy in the room. But I am always trying to learn. And I think, when it comes to having a seat at the table and not having the fundamentals, the thing is, each trader has a place at the table. Just and that's what your edge is, really. When it comes to trading, that's what your edge is. I might not, so as an example, like in our chat, like guys will, there's everyone basically in my chat is smarter than I am, but I am fairly decent at when I'm on. I'm fairly decent at identifying kind of certain moves, like when things are going to break a certain level or what's just popped, or because my whole thing is about just scanning, like what's going to go, and just calling out names like that. So whether or not that makes me feel like I have a seat at the table yet, no, not really. But do I feel like I add value? Sometimes it's still something that I struggle with daily. But at the end of the day, that's just up to me to decide whether or not I want to go that extra mile and learn those things to feel like I am adding that value. I think whenever you feel like you don't have a seat at the table, you got to start to look inside. You don't look at the guys around you and go, "Oh, they don't make me feel like I don't, fit at the table." You got to look inside, because that's an introspective thing. That concept of not feeling like you have a seat at the table, that's coming from inside, and it comes from that thing: lack of self-belief, lack of confidence in self. And if that's what you feel like, then why do you feel like that? Is it because I haven't put the work in? I know that, like, for example, whenever I'm in a room with my music friends, whenever I'm in a studio, towards the end of last year, whenever I got in the studio with Ruka and Curran, I didn't feel worthy because I hadn't put in the work, and those guys were like operating on a different they were operating on a different level to me. And it was because I hadn't put in the work. And, when I felt like that, like this insecurity, it wasn't because they were not making me feel welcome. It's because I wasn't putting in the work to feel comfortable, to actually get myself to a place where I go, nah, do you know what? I do deserve to be here. So yeah, I would say that it is a constant kind of journey. It is a constant kind of battle, and it is and it's one that like you got to pay attention to it. If those feelings ever come up, like I don't feel like I belong, or I don't feel like I got a seat at this table, you got to look at yourself and go, okay, why don't I feel like I have a seat at this table? What am I doing or not doing that makes me feel like this? Because it's not anything to do with anybody around you. It's that's coming from within. So, yeah, I would say that, yes, I still feel like that, but it is something that is, and also I would say that you kind of, the more you grow into yourself and the more your skills develop and the more you carve out your own like edge or skill set, whatever that is, whether that's music or sport or business, trading, the more you carve out your own thing, the more confidence you're going to get, even if it isn't exactly, in line with, what else is going on around you. So, for example, like when it comes to, in a music setting, I know that I'm really good with words. I know that I write really smart lyrics. Musically, melodically, vocally, I might not be the best, and I definitely don't feel like I have a seat at the table when it comes to a lot of those other things. But I know when it comes to words, I get my seat at the table because of the bars that I can write. When it comes to trading, order book, match scalping, I know I can do that very, very well. Okay. And I know that I can read tape pretty good. So yeah, when it comes to that stuff, I do feel like I at least kind of like I'm starting to get to deserve my seat at the table, and how much I kind of like, step into that completely is going to be up to me. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that answered that question without goddamn rattling too long, which I probably did. But yeah, we're on 42 minutes. I don't know how I've done this. Last week was 49 minutes. I only wanted these shows to be 30 minutes, but here I am, goddamn, talking for 42 minutes about who knows what. I said why 78,000 times in this episode. If anyone wants to play along at home with a bottle of tequila and a couple shot glasses, for every why, you got to take a shot, okay? And then send me a video of how fucked up you are at home, because that'd be pretty funny. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. That has been episode number 8 of Slap Happy. Slap Happy. It's pretty funny. My girlfriend like mouths it now. She's like, and I'm like, I know what you're saying. Slap Happy. Slap Happy. Yeah, that's episode 8. I just about you why cool. Let me know what you think. I'm actually because I've got like a little bit of love on YouTube, I'm fucking absolutely frothing on this whole idea of having a YouTube channel where people actually go and like what I'm doing and kind of get value from it. So if you're one of those people, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment on what you thought about this episode and what you want to hear in the future. If there's any questions, if there's anything that I covered in this that you didn't agree with, let me know. You wanted me to expand on further, let me know. I'm going to stop talking now. My name is Savilian. This is episode 8 of Slap Happy. And you guys, everybody have fun out there. And I'll see you in the winner's circle.